this done. You let the contractor into your house. He looks at the kitchen and goes, "Oh, you have a stove. I didn't know you had a stove. We've got to cover that, and that's going to take a little bit more time. So this room probably going to take me 5 hours to do." What one would be tempted to do at that point is to change EH from 9 to 11, because you're adding 2 hours to the thing. But right, he says it'll take me 5 hours to do the kitchen, right? Have you been paying attention to all this that I've been saying so far?
No,
Ben?
because I'm trying to get everything going.
Okay.
Let me see. So you hire a contractor to paint your house. What caught me was that he said it'll take 5 hours, but you only added 2 hours. No, he took 5 hours for the kitchen, but you only added 2 hours to the 9.
Right. So let me start over. When you get his first estimate is 9 hours. 9 hours to paint the entire house. It's going to take me 3 hours to paint each room. 9 hours. Then he sees the kitchen and he says, "Oh, this is going to take me 5 hours instead of 3." So you add 2 hours.
Gotcha.
So again, people would be tempted to say, okay, estimated hours are now 11. No, the hours have changed from the original estimate. We were talking about the original estimated hours, 9 hours. Does that make sense so far?
We're talking about the original estimated hours of 9 hours.
Right. So if it ends up taking him longer after those estimated hours, the estimated hours that he put into the contract do not change. Does that make sense?
Let me see where you're going with this first.
He can't go back in time and have told me a different estimate.
So he can't update his estimate once he actually sees the job.
No, he can. He can say this is the updated estimate, but the original estimate, that original estimate should not change.
Why not?
Because the original estimate is a record of the estimate that he gave on that day.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Right? So the estimate can change all over the place, but the original estimate was 9 hours. There's a reason that I mentioned this, right?
I'm excited to know what that is.
This guy who's painting your house gave you 3 tasks, right? Room 1, room A, room B, room C, and said, this task is going to take 3 hours, this task is going to take 3 hours, this task is going to take 3 hours. So estimated hours, EH, right? That's a measurement of work. If you were running a mile and you said, I bet you I can run this mile in 5 minutes, I can see how far along you are running the mile, right? I don't need to know, oh, well, this is how far you are or whatever, because I can just see how far along you are. But when you give me estimated hours, that 9 hour mark is a completion time. And it's separate from the measurement of time that we know as hours. It's the same word, but it means something different. I say, I'm going to get this house painted in 9 hours, right? That doesn't mean it's only going to take me 9 hours. That's the original estimated hours of 9 hours, right? The reason I mentioned that is this. So you paint the house, 3 rooms, 1, 2, 3. You paint the house 1 room at a time. You get done with room 1. No matter how long it actually took you to take it, to paint it, right? Your new estimated hour minus your new remaining hours, which is your estimated hours minus how much more work there is left to do. I mean, how much work you got done. Sorry. Your remaining hours, your estimated hours minus how much you've got done so far. That equals your remaining hours. No matter how long it actually took them to paint the room, your new remaining hours, it was 9, is now 6. When they paint the next room, your new remaining hours is 3, and when they're done, it's 0. You never have 4 remaining hours or
Are you having
whatever.
issues with a contractor at work or something?
What I've just described as painting is actually how some people measure time in software development. As using painting as an example, but they have a thing that they need to turn in. They have tasks underneath it, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing is that these people who are painting your house, right, might change their estimates and say, oh, the estimate is now this, which is great, but that wasn't the original estimate. And again, the only thing that you have to measure from beginning to end is hours, because there aren't any other measurements you can use. And the reason people get confused, and the reason I was doing this, Ben, is because I made a whole bunch of people mad at me trying to explain this concept to them.
No kidding.
And I wanted to take a reasonable person and see what their reaction is. Now that I've explained it, do you understand it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of like, I mean, I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about it in terms of software development and how, and as a contractor, when you estimate for a job, oftentimes you are not given the complete picture. Like, I didn't know there was a stove in the kitchen that I'd have to cover. So estimates change, and being held to that original 9-hour estimate is, you know.
No, and this is exactly what you said. This is what we're talking about. That original 9-hour estimate should not be equivalent to actual hours, if that makes sense. So people say, you told me that you'd get this done in 9 hours. It's been 10 hours. You should be done and then some. And it's like, that 9-hour estimate, the original 9-hour estimate, was not how long. It's okay when you're guessing how long it might take someone to do something. It is not good in estimating how much more time they have to do, how much more stuff they have to do. That's why using hours is dumb, and you shouldn't use hours. That's why I'm using EH for estimated hours, because 9EH doesn't change. You say, so take hours out of the way, right? This is a 9EH job. Each room represents 3EH. I've got done with one room. I take 3EH away, I'm left with 6EH. That's simple, right? If you don't think about it in hours, if you just think about it as a measurement until you get done, it's not that hard. Not that hard of a concept. But because some genius, and I use that word in quotes, decided that they were going to have no other way to estimate other than number of hours, this screws everything up. Because you can't talk about how much time you have left. I mean, not how much, now I'm doing it. You can't talk about how much work you have left. Oh, I have 4 hours left. What does that mean? Because 4 hours does not equal 4 hours. 4 hours is a percentage of the original hourly estimate, which, as demonstrated, is not accurate. So, anyway, that's all.
And so you're trying to reconceptualize people's interpretation of measurement of work, and they got mad at you?
Yes. I was going to say it's more complicated, but that's really what it is. It's that I was explaining to them why they're thinking about measurement wrong. And for some reason,
when people are told that they've been thinking about something wrong their entire working lives.
I told them that they were, no, it's not just that. It's also that I told them that it's a pretty simple concept, and they were intelligent enough that they should know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you insulted their intelligence, yeah.
I didn't, though. I complimented their intelligence. So anyway, yeah.
I see what you're saying. Work should not be measured in hours because it takes different hours for different people to do the same work.
Well, and that's the other thing is that the work, once work has been estimated, this is the big thing. Once work has been estimated in hours, you have to decouple those hours from the hours that we use to measure time, or else it's not going to make any sense. This is a 10-hour job, someone says.
Yeah.
If it's a 10-hour job and you've been working on it for 12 hours, why is it not done? That's what people will say. And the fact is that
it's no longer a 10-hour job, it's a 12-hour job.
Right. And that will keep changing. So what you do is you don't change how long the job takes. You lock it in when the estimate is made, and then you measure against those estimated hours how much more, again, not time, how much more is done. You could call it something else. You could say it'll take me 10 stars to get this done. That would be easier. There are 10 stars, and when I reach 0 stars, then this will be done. How far are you? I'm on 8 stars, but people don't know what that means. You might, people familiar with software development, might note that someone already solved this problem by using story points for how long it takes to get something done. And story points are an arbitrary, they're decoupled from a real thing. So it doesn't help. Hours, and this is the thing, the whole reason this is a problem, Ben, is that people are bad at estimating. It's not something that we excel at because we can't think of all the different things that could come up.
McCandless and I dealt with this a lot when we had Caution Zero and we're doing work for hire. We would get an email saying, "Hey, I want you guys to make a video. How much would it cost?"
Yeah. Oh, this is a great example. Yeah. I don't know. I
don't know. $35,000. What do you want?
Artists deal with the same thing. How much is this painting? Hey,
yeah.
Speaking of art, I am loving even more so now the
oh God,
the AI art thing. But I have a Ben's gonna guess the news. Ben,
Paul.
I don't know where, and I don't know what. Actually, I think I do know where. But there was controversy, I say, at the state fair level. What was it?
A piece of art that was generated by AI won first place in a state fair art competition, annoying, irritating, pissing off all the artists that had entered.
That is correct. Now, the interesting thing about that is that I found out about this through, just being on the Discord that runs the art generating program that I use, which is called Midjourney. But the fun thing is that, there was a blow up, a dust up between two different groups of people saying, yes, this is fine, and no, I hate this. I feel as though there are two things that are important to know about this story. One is it was a digital art competition. It's number one. And number two, the person who did it was very straightforward that this is what they used to make it.
Right.
So whether or not
so there was complete transparency, and they were within the realms of the guidelines.
Apparently so.
Because nobody ever said this can't be AI generated.
Right. Now here's the thing. If I go to a piano, this is a great example, I think. I go to a piano playing piano competition with a tape recorder, and I sit at the piano and I play the tape recorder. I'm not going to win. If I mime playing while I play with the tape recorder, I'm also not going to win. But it feels similar, right? It feels very similar.
But if I bring a robot that plays the piano,
right,
plays it really well,
can that?
I built this robot. This robot is an extension of me.
Right.
But this robot also can. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big question. And fun. But the big thing, obviously, is that artists, get ready for this, Ben, may not be paid what they're worth.
What?
in the coming. Yeah, that was the big thing, is that people were like, working artists won't be able to make a living, and it's like, hey, I got news for you. I I I had to really come to grips with what I wanted to do for a living when I saw very famous artists, very talented artists, complaining on Twitter all the time about how they didn't have any jobs and they didn't have any money, and
Yeah.
looking at my output and going, well,
It's also, I mean, I think you hit that realization at a very young age when you see one of your teachers working at the Walmart. You know,
yeah.
it's the
I
same thing.
I never
This
did
person can't make a living doing what they do.
Yeah, it seems weird. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm getting glasses.
You are. So
Yeah,
is
I
the
need glasses to read.
I there's somebody else I know who had LASIK surgery about, I guess, I don't know, about 10 years ago, and now he has to get glasses. So is there a shelf life on the surgery that you had?
Sort of, yeah. There's a shelf life for close up reading.
Okay.
Like, I can still see fine. Um, I have a little bit of astigmatism, right, for distance, but not a lot.
Right.
And I can deal with it. But the thing is, I'm taking my glasses on and off constantly. And I was like, forget it. I just want to, give me the transition lenses and I'll, deal with it that way.
The progressive lenses.
Yep. So that's what I end up doing. And I should have them in 3 weeks. So be on the lookout.
I need to go to the eye doctor again because my prescription is only like 2 years old, but is already, I'm noticing it's out of date. My eyes,
no.
as I get older, my eyes are going downhill faster.
Yeah, and that's just, I mean, that's part of
It's
what's
just
happening
life.
with me.
Yeah. I mean,
if you can't see, this is something fun. If you do this, you can see, you can read.
Oh, right,
I can
because
read.
you're looking through the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pinhole camera kind of concept.
That's why
It's
people
better than
squint
squinting.
to try to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
I mean, if you're holding something, you might have to, but it's more accurate. It gives you a better read, and it's easier to see stuff. And your long lustrous lashes don't get in the way. That might just be my problem. Hey, wait, can I
I've always I got my hand goggles. I remember.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. If I do this, binocular vision, Ben.
There was a time when you were trying to train your eyes to be stronger. And yep. I remember, I think it was Pamela Miatov talking about being with us while we were watching a play and how you would sit in the front row and try to like train your eyes to be stronger while watching this play. I don't know what you're doing, like covering your eyes or pressing on them or whatnot, but it made an impression with Molly.
Yeah, it didn't work that well. I did get a little bit better. I actually could see like the only way I can describe it, it's because of the astigmatism, but I would see a floating clear picture every once in a while, which was bizarre. But I stopped after I got on the wrong bus.
I do think that. I mean, I like to believe that the concept was there. Maybe not the practice wasn't quite perfect, but I do think that once I started wearing glasses, my eyesight really started to diminish. It's because my eyes started getting lazy.
I talked to my eye doctor about this, and she said that that's not a thing, and I believe her.
Well, I'm going to talk to my eye doctor about it. I'll see what he has to say.
And my eye doctor said, yeah, this doesn't happen. Give me money.
Yeah.
Money.
It was like, so 2 years ago, I went to a brand new eye doctor here in Seattle. My old one was in Olympia. And it had been a number of years since I'd gone to an eye doctor that wasn't my eye doctor that I'd had as a kid, who I discovered was very old school. Because when I went to this new eye doctor at like a vision clinic, there were so many new gadgets and devices that I'd never experienced before, and ways of like they can take the pressure of my eye without putting drops in it or without doing the dust, not the dust thing, but the air thing. They took pictures of my eyes. I had to look at through these things. You know, it was like being in a, you know, being transported to a modern world.
So Ben, let me ask you a question. Did you see the little house?
I did see the little house. Yeah.
Yeah. This is something I learned from my eye doctor, that little house is universal. There's a little house and there's one other thing and I forget what it is. I'm looking for something. You might be able to tell. I'm going to send you.
Looking down.
Yes, that is why I'm looking down, just so you know. But yeah, so how are things in the world of Ben?
Things in the world of Ben are pretty okay. We're still filming a movie here in the I'm not part of it, but they are still filming a movie here in the theater.
I don't know, if somebody's filming in your house, I think you're allowed to say we.
It's one of those things
not
where
that this is your house, but
sometimes it feels like that. But they've really turned the place upside down, and at points I've become a little annoyed, even because I'm like, you're blocking the fridge, you know. But it's not bad. I am excited to see what the finished product. I am excited to see the finished product just to see what they've been doing with the space, because I film in here all the time. Like Panel Jumper, GudeLaurance, we constantly filmed inside Annex Theater because it's like, you know, having your own set.
It really is, you know, it's not just like it. It really is.
Yeah.
When you're in Annex Theater, your family, that Olive Garden, I can't. But you know,
when you're here, your family. So get into the kitchen and do your damn dishes.
So I'm sending you something, Ben.
This isn't another one of those. Paul spends the entire show looking for something.
No. I've got it. I just need to figure out how to send it to you. How do we do that? See, this is even better. How do we do? What is?
GudeLaurance, how do we do that?
What is? How come? Oh, I know. I will save the image, and I will send it to you in a text.
Is this another one of your Mid-Journey images? Get
ready. Yes. Warning. It is. Oh no! Why isn't it that? It should be. It should be fine.
Is it PG rated?
Oh no! It is PG rated. But I feel as though it may not actually get to you, Ben.
My core is sore. While you're dealing with that, I'm just gonna tell the people that I bought an exercise mat the other day, and I've started doing Pilates again. And yesterday was my first day back doing Pilates at home. And because I figure, you know, I'm 46. I can't spend the rest of my life on the couch watching TV, drinking beer. So might as well try to get the core in shape. And so now I have to play that fun game of, is that just muscle fatigue or do I have an intestinal issue?
So this is what happened, Ben. I took a still from David Cronenberg's Naked Lunch and a picture from Max Ernst, who is a surrealist artist, and I put those two things together, and the image that I sent you, which has been delivered to your phone, is the result. Oh, sent to your Apple Watch?
Well, I got the notice on my Apple Watch.
Gotcha.
All right, so that's Naked Lunch and Max Ernst.
Yeah, put together. And that image, Ben, is one that no one has ever seen before. Now, there are a couple of things about this. Whenever I look at this, is why I like doing this, because whenever I look at these images, and this is why I wanted to send it to you so you could hear about it, they evoke something within me, right? So this guy, that we're looking at, he is some sort of a fancy guy, but also there's something bad happening to him. He's really, and so I figured out that he's like a scientist who has begun experimenting on himself and has gone too far, and he can't go back anymore. And the person to his right, who is whispering in his ear, is a homunculus of his own genetic makeup that he put together.
If you go to this,
it's advising him.
If you're listening to the podcast, you won't be able to see it, but if you go to the YouTube stream that's on the podcast page, I'm showing a picture of it.
And maybe we could put a picture of it in the show notes. Warning though, it's disturbing.
You're asking too much of me, Paul Goody.
Okay. Yeah, just look at YouTube. Look at YouTube.
I can. I do know when you're active on Midjourney because I can see your Discord icon go green.
Oh, well, no, that doesn't mean that I'm active, though. It could be that it's just running jobs for me in the background.
So your Discord name, you changed it. What's behind your Discord name?
Oh, my Discord name. It's Jan Paul Goody, which is my name in Tokipona. Something that I've abandoned while I'm working on Midjourney stuff. But still, so yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, all that I do, it's an entertaining thing for me. All that I really do is I don't use this for, comic books or anything like that. I make the picture and then I look at the picture and I imagine what's going on with the picture. Like, who's this guy? Where's he going? What's happening?
And then you discard it and move to the next one.
Yep. It's fun for me. It's really.
Are you collecting these anywhere?
Midjourney collects them. I save some of them.
All right.
On my
so if you
iPhone.
You wake up one night and you're like, I want to go back and look at that one that I did like 2.5 weeks ago.
I'd use the Midjourney website. You can search and
like
scroll
it saves
through and
on
stuff
under
like
your username or whatever.
Yep. And you can favorite stuff, which is what I've started doing now that I have some things that are my favorites. The thing that I learned, Ben, the way that I made that, most people use text, and oh god. So one of the things that you can volunteer to do, which I do, I'll usually watch TV and do it, or listen to a podcast. More likely I'll listen to a podcast, but you go through and you rate other people's images and like write mark if you think that it may be inappropriate, or if it looks bad, like if the AI messed up somehow.
This picture offends me and my delicate sensibilities.
Or this person has no teeth and they're supposed to have teeth or whatever. But
that's how the AI learns.
Yeah, exactly. So you're helping train the AI. But one of the things that happens is it's like and you can sort of tell the age of the people sometimes as well. Jessica Rabbit, bear, Jessica Rabbit, large chest, no clothes, Jessica Rabbit. And then the nice thing is, they've started, it could be that the AI doesn't understand, but I think the AI is also trolling people sometimes, because one was woman in space, big chest, latex spacesuit. And it was a spacesuit.
Treasure chest.
With the woman with a treasure chest in a spacesuit that was as big as a NASA spacesuit made out of latex. So that one I let go. And here's the other thing too. If somebody types in naughty stuff, whatever, that's fine. But it's just non-stop.
13-year-olds have ruined the internet.
Oh, I think it's 13 and 40-year-olds. I think there's a there's a gap there. So
You mean
so
everybody's a pervert, Paul?
but one of the things that everyone is a pervert in some ways, Ben. Everyone has something because I just think it's true. Anyway, here's the thing. If you remember, I talked about on Verbatim. You remember Verbatim,
I do remember Verbatim.
where we have the very wonderful Chris imitating me, doing not just an imitation, but a full-on
Verbatim,
characterization.
for those who don't know, was a play that Annex Theater produced back in 2000, I want to say, 2?
Something like that. Chris Dietz.
And what the organizers did was they interviewed people about their jobs or their lives or anything they wanted to talk about, distilled all those conversations into a narrative. Not really a narrative, but it was more of like a collection of stories, and brought on actors to portray these people. And I actually, so Paul, you were interviewed. I helped the production by transcribing a 2-hour-long cassette recording, something a bot could do in mere minutes today.
Yes. So in there, I'm talking about how pornography really does help drive technology forward, because people's drive to get porn makes them do all sorts of things. So as an example, the site has banned certain keywords. And you can go into the philosophy section of the board, and people are like, this is going to bankrupt them. I can't believe that I can't type in the word "but." What if I want to say that someone is the butt of a joke? Why can't I say "but" then? And why can't I say voluptuous? What if I want to talk about how something is a large thing? And why can't I say underwear? Why is that? And
what if I've been banned by the back room of my adult video store and I just need to get my fix somehow?
And moist. What is the problem with the word moist? Yeah, and you realize they're telling a narrative about the thing that got banned. So the big thing is that so they ban these words, and people try to find a way to work around the banning of the words.
Yes.
Meanwhile, they're doing a technology thing where they're like, okay, we're actually gonna make a porn bot that can tell whether something's porn or not, and we're gonna keep them from doing that, because they want to keep everything public and shareable and all that. And there are people who just don't understand that even though you might want to look at something, other people might not. So
but you will also have that subset of people who will just do that, try to create those kinds of images just to see how far it can go.
Right. Well, I mentioned this before. The big problem back when I used to work monitoring online communities is that one of them was a scat forum, and I was customer service, and people would call and go, "Hey, my picture isn't showing up," and I would say, "Oh, that's funny. We haven't had any reports that there are problems with pictures. Let me go and see what's the URL." And they give me the URL, and I'm like, so the picture is not showing up for you, you say. Yeah, well, it's showing up for me. I can see it. Oh, well, maybe it's not the right picture. Can you describe it to me?
Please,
No.
God.
And Devin, we've had the same conversation every day for the past 2 weeks. That sort of thing. There are
Devin
people
just wants
that,
a friend.
yes, that do just want a friend, or want to surprise you or shock you or whatever. Here's the thing that I have learned. Now, again, they've got these keywords, and so what people will do is they will spam the keywords thing. Not just that. I mean, the butt, chest, whatever thing, that's one thing. But also people will say, an 18th century rustic farmhouse, volumetric lighting, 4K, Hans Zimmer shot, Oscar winning, amazing, picture of small child holding violin, like a huge paragraph to see how much they can get it to look at things. The image that I sent you was not done with words. I used two pictures and put them together. And the reason that I like it is because what Midjourney is doing, because the one of the people that worked on it talked about this. They've got one side of things that goes, I know what pictures of these things look like. And there's another side of it that says, I know what makes a good picture. And the two, like, this one throws out pictures that the words make. This one makes it into a good picture. And when the two agree, that's when your picture gets done, if that makes sense. So it's not, if you say bees in a hive, it's not just going to be a picture of a bee and a hive. It's going to be an aesthetically pleasing picture of a bee in a hive. That's what the people that made Midjourney are trying to do, which is why the fact that it won this art contest is good, because the composition, it is made up with that, made up of a lot of analysis of art and what makes good art.
It's not just random assemblance of pictures, or
so exactly, by
cloud,
spamming it
image.
with all the words, you're giving it a lot of parameters to go through, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a picture and you're like, I kind of want this picture meets this picture, you're kind of sidestepping I'm taking these words and making them into things, because it will see it already. And like, as an example, if I give it
a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Thank you, Ben. I was
you're leading up to
holding off on making no, I was holding off on making the joke. So I appreciate it. But one of the things I noticed is that it will take the focus of the picture, right? So like, if I have a picture where something is blurry in the background and the front part is focused, the picture that it creates from the two pictures that it puts together will have that same focus on it, even if it's a picture of something completely different. The elements that it decides to take are really interesting, and so that's why I like feeding it two totally incongruous things. So as an example, Naked Lunch, and what was the other one? I forget. There was Naked Lunch, and then there was
he was an artist.
Oh yeah, Max Ernst. Taking those two things and putting them together, they're not completely at odds with each other, right? They're both disturbing kind of things,
right?
But one has a black and white style, the other one is a color photograph, and so putting those two things together was really interesting.
And yet, it allowed this picture from a movie called Naked Lunch.
Well, yeah, but it didn't have the word naked in it.
Not even in the meta description?
No, but
or
here's
it didn't even know?
If I wanted to upload a naked person, it would be able to tell and wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah.
So,
so you can type in what you want. You can upload pictures of what you want. Is there any other input? Can you like talk into this thing?
If you had text to speech, you would be able to do it probably. But one of the things that they're talking about maybe doing,
can it create music?
No, they can't. But I have an idea, Ben. You'll hear it here first on September 2nd, 2022. I think one of the next big things is going to be, and I don't know when it's going to come on the scene, but it will eventually, an AI that creates covers. You give it a band and you give it a song, and the AI will make that band doing that song. I think it'll happen.
I want to say that something like that already exists. I can't. I'm trying to remember. There was a company called Robotnik. I think that's the name of it.
Okay.
And the guy who started it would come and perform at Weird and Awesome every once in a while. And I want to say that that company had a bot that would make music. Now, I don't know if it was... Oh, okay, here's what it would do. You would give it parameters like Midjourney. You would say, I want something that sounds like the Dire Straits and Green Day. And it would give you something that sounded like the Dire Straits and Green Day.
Can you find out what? Because this is exactly what I. So it already exists. That I'm behind the times, Ben. Can you find that and send it to me?
Maybe.
Okay.
Robotnik is actually a pretty popular name, and it's a character that Jim Carrey plays in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic. Yep.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
so
I didn't want to mention that.
Gotta have to wade through that.
But yeah, if you can find out, or if Emmett knows, you talk to Emmett at all.
I haven't talked to Emmett in a while, but I'll see if I can track down this this company.
Because I would like to take a look at that, listen to it. Because yeah, that was the exact idea. But I guess mine is a little bit different. Because you're actually picking, I want them to do this song by this artist. And of course, the thing that will keep it from happening is copyright.
Yeah.
But will it? Will it? It's not that artist who's doing it. Oh, the singer-songwriter would still get.
Yeah, I mean, if you say, like, I want Sheryl Crow to cover AC/DC, you're gonna, like...
You would say, I want Sheryl Crow doing a version of Highway to Hell.
Yeah. And then you get into that issue that we talk about a lot, which is, what kind of permission do you get when you have, like, when Hollywood has to deal with likenesses, right? They want to use a likeness of a character, but they already have this footage, like the Back to the Future problem. How much do we need to license this content?
Right. Oh, hey, I got another Ben Gonna Guess the News. Are you ready?
Bring it.
People on the internet hate women. What is the last thing a woman dared to do that they're mad about?
Oh gosh, it could be so many things.
It's too broad, right? You can ask me questions.
People on the internet. What did a woman do that people are mad at? So does this have to do with politics?
No.
All right. Does this have to do with a TV show?
Yes. Or it has to do with, I don't know if it's a TV show or if it's a movie.
All right, so it has to do with some sort of
motion
picture, piece of media.
Yeah.
It's not the new
Very
Doctor
good, Ben.
Who.
No.
A woman. Is this woman on screen?
Yes.
Is this a known piece of content? Like, has this?
Yes.
Is this woman replacing another character?
Sort of. You could say yes.
I could say yes. Is this an American show?
I do believe so, but I don't know for sure.
So it could be American, could be British or Canadian or...
Right. It's in English.
Okay.
I'll say for sure.
Is the woman who is at the center of this controversy a person of color?
No.
So a white woman...
Yes.
...is taking over a role of sorts. Sort of. Taking over a role.
You're doing great, Ben.
I'm
not going to give you any hints. You're still doing.
Obviously, tell. I have no idea what this is. Is it? So it's an actress taking over a role, a white actress taking over a role on a known commodity that people on the internet are upset about. Is this a piece of science fiction?
Science fiction adjacent.
Science fiction adjacent. Is it so?
I mean, you could say no, but I'm worried that if I were to say no, that later on you would say I asked if it was science fiction, and
is it fiction
no.
or nonfiction?
Yeah, fiction.
Okay, so it's scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Science fiction adjacent, fantasy.
You could fantasy adjacent. You're doing really well.
So is it something to do with the Game of Thrones?
No.
Nothing to do with Game of Thrones, which I think falls into the solid fantasy realm.
Yeah. If it were Game of Thrones, I would say fantasy.
Yeah, and not Lord of the Rings either.
You and I'll give you a hint. You and I have had a conversation about how this genre touches on fantasy and science fiction in such a way that it really could be considered part of those, except for its atmospheric qualities.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you're still doing good though. No, I'm not gonna tell you.
No, and then we'll move on because I can't make it.
You said fantasy. You said fantasy and science fiction. What are you missing, Ben?
Fantasy, science fiction, Western.
Not Western.
So it's adjacent to fantasy, adjacent to science fiction, adjacent to some other genre in that.
It is another genre. You just haven't said it yet.
Like horror.
Ah, there you go. It's horror.
It's a horror TV show.
It's a known horror property.
Is it
with a
The
famous
Evil Dead?
lead? No.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis? Is it Halloween?
No.
Okay. A famous,
That's good, though, but
a famous lead. So it's a, but is it a reboot of the franchise?
It is a continuation of the franchise.
A continuation.
One of those things. It's still apparently still in canon, which is.
So it's not John Hamm taking over for Chevy Chase and Fletch.
Wait, is that happening?
Yeah, Confess Fletch is a new movie coming out starring John Hamm as Fletch.
Oh, perfect.
And apparently it's book 2. The Chevy Chase movie was book 1. Has this come out yet?
I do not believe so. I saw. I will. Okay, I'll give you another hint. I was looking for prompts in Midjourney, and I ran across this news article. That's how.
Okay.
Because I was looking for a picture of this well-known horror character to use as a prompt for something.
A well-known horror character.
Yes.
Has this franchise been around more than 30 years?
Ooh.
Like, am I going too far astray if I say Halloween, Friday the 13th?
Around that time. Maybe a little later, but pretty much around that time.
So we're talking about like something that was popular in the 80s? Yeah. Okay. And it's a continuation, not a reboot of the franchise.
Yep. What
is still coming out? I mean, you already said it's not The Evil Dead.
Let's. I'm gonna steer you a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of a hint.
Yeah.
You'll notice that I didn't know if it was a TV show or a film, and there might be a reason why I'm not sure.
It's a podcast.
It might be because of how it is coming to the viewer. On a platform where you're unsure sometimes if something is a series or if it's a film.
So we just talking about some sort of streaming channel?
Ah, yes. You're doing better, Ben.
So, is it HBO?
No.
Is it Netflix?
No.
Is it Hulu?
Yes.
It is something on Hulu.
Yes.
So it's not part of the Marvel or Disney canon.
This is what I like about you, Ben. You're using your brain here.
Although Disney owns Hulu, so you never know. Is it comic book related?
No. Well, the property started out, I believe, in literature, became a movie, and I'm using the word literature, books, became a movie, and has had comic books made of it. It's a pretty big franchise.
Is it James Bond?
It's horror.
It's horror.
We've already
right.
established it's horror. James
horror.
Bond on Hulu, though, that'd be
I don't
interesting.
know. I was
a horror James Bond on Hulu.
I pivoted to characters that started out in literature.
That's going to be my next thing I do on Midjourney, Ben. A horror James Bond on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. Okay. I do know what this is. This is the new movie called Prey, which has.
No, you're so close.
Oh, it hits all the points. It's a woman playing a role from a friendship, but it didn't start out in literature though.
But also remember the role itself is big. The role itself is iconic. The role
is it
itself,
a title role? Is it a titular role?
It's not a titular role, but it is. If this makes sense, if someone says the name of the franchise, you picture this character in your head, like, and it's the main focus of the franchise.
So it started out as literature, or we'll say as books. It has been a movie and a TV show. Is that what you said?
No TV show, movie and comic books though.
Movie and comic books. And it's horror.
Ooh, I'll say this. In fact, this is a little bit of a hint. I found out about a comic book that I like now because I mistakenly thought that it was a comic book about this movie.
Oh.
Because they had similar names.
Huh. Yeah, it's probably one of those things where I'll
like when it falls into place, I'll be
like, oh, but right now
I'm gonna give you another hint, Ben. It's not a big hint at all. But people are mad at this actress because she dared say yes to a role that, for whatever reason, they are. I don't know it, and this is what this is the big hint.
Is the actress Amber Heard?
No.
Okay.
The majority of men complaining are the sort that you wouldn't necessarily think would be too upset with a character that does what this character does, being a hot lady. Although maybe they would not consider them hot depending on their transformation. But okay, so think about this, Ben. Horror franchise. Main character somehow sort of hot.
Okay. Somehow sort of hot, but not conventionally.
Not conventionally by any stretch of the imagination.
was played by a man, and now people are upset that a woman.
Some people are upset. Yeah.
Some people are upset, but not the people you think. Not like the incels who cower in the basement
I
of
think
their house.
I think that it maybe still is, but if you were to look on the computers of the people complaining, if they do fit that demographic, you might find pictures similar to what this person is going to end up looking like. What this person is going to end up looking like is a sentence that left my lips.
I'm gonna need some more hints. I'm running out of juice here.
Okay, so think of name some 80s horror franchises, and I'll try to tell you, because this is one of my favorite horror franchises. I'll try to tell you what I like about this franchise, that it has that other one doesn't.
Hellraiser.
You've just named the thing.
So there's So is it Pinhead? Is that the name of the character?
Yes.
So woman is now playing Pinhead?
Woman Pinhead.
Yes. I had no idea. I'd never heard that.
Yep. And yesterday a photo was released. And the thing is
it Tilda Swinton?
No. This is what's crazy, Ben. I don't remember the name of the actor who is playing her. But here's the thing. I was going to make a female version of Pinhead.
Oh no.
And I just looked up Pinhead.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing that came up. And you know me, Ben, how my brain is a little crazy sometimes. I was like, did I just make this happen? Of course I didn't. But it was kind of amazing that it just came out yesterday.
Jamie Clayton. I've never heard of her.
Yep. So have you seen the picture though?
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Pretty cool, right?
I got no issue with it. She kind of looks like the character from one of the Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
there was
the
an
Borg
alien.
Queen.
Yeah, the Borg Queen, I think. Except with a pins in her head.
So yeah, general people complaining, how dare they make a woman instead of a man who says that there's pleasure in pain and pain in pleasure.
People complain
having her dress
about...
in. Could you look really quick just to make sure? Is there a sentence or anything about people mad about it?
Let's see. Let's go for...
Because I want to make sure. I do think that it is the general why are women taking all of the roles in Hollywood, and not people like this is exploitative or whatever.
On the first page, the only article about any sort of it's probably not even a controversy, but the headline is, "It's an interesting piece of casting. Original Pinhead actor comments on female Pinhead in new Hellraiser movie."
So I believe the article that I read, but not everyone is happy about it, or something like that. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I felt okay with using that as my hint. Hey, that took up a lot of the podcast. For those who know, Ben did guess it. I'm gonna say this goes to Ben guessing it.
After what, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
It's a good way to kill time.
Yeah. And speaking about which, just so John Constantine Hellraiser. I was introduced to it because I thought Hellblazer was Hellraiser, and then I was like, "What is this? Just some British guy?" That's how I used to talk when I was a kid. Hi, my name's Paul.
My name's Paul, and I'm gonna get some comics and go home.
Is this ninja book really about real ninjas? So, anyway, Ben, we are at time. And
Paul, thanks for showing up today.
I'm going to ask you to keep it wrong, and thank you for texting me. I apologize for being late.
Yeah. Keep it wrong, and I'll talk to you next week, maybe.
Talk to you next week. Yeah. Yeah.
If you remember.
All right. All right. Keep it wrong.